base building in Dune Awakening. Do you really have to focus on that? Do you have to spend a lot of time building bases like these massive structures like we see over here? Like that's a base, that's a base, that's my base right there, which I've spent an ungodly amount of time on. Somebody's got a base up at the top of there. There's bases all around us here. Um, not everybody likes crafting, right? Some people just want to get to the action, and Dune Awakening has plenty of action. There are lots of quests. There's an RPG element here. There's a skill tree with lots of different abilities that you can go through, different classes that you can choose from. There's a variety of ranged weapons and melee weapons if you want to focus on sniper rifles like I do and have an auto turret that does that right there. You can have this poison ability. There's, melee weapons like my rapier. There's, different things like my SMG, which is always fun. And then there's like rocket launchers. Like, there's all sorts of different things that you can do in this game. So, do you have to do base building? Like, is it mandatory? So, we got a sandstorm rolling in. This is going to be the perfect time for me to get inside and hide out. This is also the perfect moment for me to say, at its core, Dune Awakening is a survival game. One of the things you're going to be surviving is the elements, and part of the elements are water, the sun, heat stroke, and sandstorms, which will absolutely destroy you and kill you if you're left out in the open. So there are things like bases. Bases are not the only way to stay safe from the sandstorms, but the game does teach you in the very early hours of the game to build a basic structure to stay safe from the elements. And here's the thing, if that's as far as you want to take the base building in this game, is just that very basic structure that you do at the very, very beginning, you don't have to take it any beyond that if you don't want to. Like, there are other ways that you can get around in the game and stay safe from like sandstorms and stuff. But it is going to be a little more, I would argue it's going to be easier if you focus on building your own base. But I do want to talk about this a little bit in greater detail. So let's go over here. I'm at Pinnacle Station right now. And one of the things I want to look at is the NPC merchant over here. So if we go over here and talk to him, we are going to see
Still
that he
alive, are you?
has a variety of things that we can buy, starting with some unique weapons that we can go down through here, and he's got different crafting components, but then he has weapons for sale. And then he has different things for sale. We have a cosmetic set of gear, different other components that you can buy and sell. And then if you go to Arakeen, which is the major city, or Harco Village, which is the other major city, you will find NPCs who specifically sell armor and weapons. So if you don't want to craft armor and weapons, you can legitimately 100% play the game like a standard RPG and go out there, do the quests, get the coin from those quests, spend the money from those quests to buy gear from NPC merchants to upgrade your character, and slowly over time get better gear as you work your way through the game. However, there are some elements of the game where the base building aspect of the game does make your life a little easier. One example of that is water. Water is a big deal on Arrakis. You're constantly going to need water, represented by this blue bar over here. I'm wearing a still suit, which if you've watched the films or if you've read the books, a still suit allows me to capture water, which is in this tiny little blue bar over here, and I can recycle it and then drink it, like so, to refill my big bar, like so, and then drain that. And then over time, this bar will go down and this bar will go up, and I can drink it again. It's not an endless supply. Now, one of the ways to get water is when you are out adventuring and going into these dungeons called Imperial Testing Stations, you will find caches of water that you can drink from. But the base is meant to be a place where you can set up a variety of facilities to help you in your journeys. So I want to go over there and look at that really quick to help you understand that. Because again, you don't have to get into the base building the way I did. All you really need in this game is a very, very basic block structure. It's 4 walls and a roof and a door, a fuel generator to power the shields. That's it. And then inside of that, you could put a cistern. You could put there are lots of different things you could put. We're going to go over here and talk about it, because I have the sort of upper not the end game version of everything, but I have sort of the mid to upper tier of all of the crafting stations at my main base here, which will help you understand a little bit more of what I mean by the survival aspects of the game. So here we have a bunch of machines, all of which I have built. Um, these are all things that are needed to go to the end of the game. There is another tier beyond this, which is tier 6. That's the very end of the game, which is what I'm just now getting into right now. Um, Not necessary if you don't want to do the base building. Um, all you're really going to need is some sort of basic um, water facility. In this case, if we go upstairs, I have these cisterns set up, and those cisterns are filled by these. Um, they're up top on the roof here. These wind turrets that I have, which we can look at over here. These things right here. So these drive water to my cisterns. You could also harvest water from plants. You can, which doesn't require a base. So if you wanted to get away with getting water from the environment, you would use something like this right here, a dew reaper, and then you would use that dew reaper with a leader john or a canteen, and you would reap the dew from plants, put it in your canteen, and fill your stockpile of water. You don't have to have facilities to get water. It is, I would argue, long term easier for water production, but if you're just playing the game from the purposes and the perspective of as an RPG, an action RPG, the only thing you're ever going to need is a canteen and a dew reaper, and you're going to run around the world and you're going to harvest from plants. And if you wanted to, you could drain the blood from your enemies and set up a blood refiner at your base and refine the blood of your enemies into water. That's one aspect of it. But you don't have to build cisterns, you don't have to build any of these things if you don't want to. But those giant cisterns drive the production facilities that I have in place to build things like the ornithopter and the buggy. But here's the kicker. If you don't want to build the ornithopter, you don't have to. You can go to Arakeen. Matter of fact, let's do that right now. Let's go to the city. Actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll fly there on the world map. You don't have to fly there, by the way. That trading post we were just at right down there, Pinnacle Station. You can go there on foot or on a buggy or in some sort of land vehicle, and you can take the taxi from there to one of the major city hubs. And then you can get to the city hubs, and you're going to see what we're about to show you, which is the NPC merchants where you can buy your vehicle parts. And I want to point this out. I want to point the city out because, again, we come back to, is crafting necessary? Do you have to do base building in this game? No, you do not. But understand that things cost money, significant amounts of money. So if you're going to be buying things from the city and using the taxi to get back and forth until such time as you can purchase the parts to make a vehicle, it can get costly. But here's the thing, you can absolutely do it that way if you want to. That's the coolest part about this game, is that you really do have the option to play it how you want. And I think a lot of people have the mistaken belief that, oh my god, it's a crafting game, it's a crafting survival game, I'm going to be forced to build these massive bases, I'm going to be forced to spend all this time doing crafting, which I don't want to do. And that's just not true. And I want to show you that aspect of the game so that maybe it'll allay your fears, and maybe might bring you to try a game that you might not have otherwise played. There is going to be a lot of, I think the one thing I would question, and I actually don't know the answer to this now that I'm thinking about this as we are showing this off. One thing that does happen over time as you use vehicles and as you um, um, use your weapons and stuff is they do decay over time. And I don't know that there's any way outside of building your own repair station at your home base to repair items. I don't think there's an NPC that I'm aware of that you can use to pay to fix things for you. So at the very least, in your home base, you would need to have like the repair station Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. And the ability to like build your you have the handheld device that you make, which allows you to repair your vehicles. Those things would be, I would consider, kind of mandatory for the long-term play, even if you're playing outside of the base building structure, because you are going to need a way to repair things. So, and you're going to need fuel cells for your vehicles, but you could buy your fuel cells from the NPC vendors. So I think the only thing you would absolutely have to craft at your home base would be the handheld device to um, um, repair your vehicles and the repair station to repair weapons and armor that you're using. And you can either find the materials while you are adventuring through the game, or you can buy those materials from NPCs. So now that we're here in the city, we can look. There are a variety of vendors. I think this person right here actually is a vehicle merchant. So if we talk to her, yeah, she sells vehicle parts. So she sells buggy parts, so you can buy all the parts to make a buggy. She sells all the parts to make a sand bike, so that you could just buy the pieces you need to make a sand bike. And she actually starts, it looks like, with a Mark II, which is like the very lowest version of the bike that you can make. But she sells different versions of that as well. I don't remember what this lady is over here. And then we have like a weapons merchant around the corner. What does she sell?
Hey there, friend.
Oh, she sells the
Looking for
parts.
anything special?
So if you needed the parts to like repair items and things, she sells those here. And then if we go, looks like up and to the left, we can see. I'm going to show you all the things that you can just buy if you wanted to do it that way. You don't have to actually, like I said, you don't have to craft any of the crafting stations at your home base. You could just come here to the city. Like here's a weapon vendor, so you could buy weapons here.
How's it? The Padishah Emperor, or his Imperial.
I didn't mean to talk to her about
How's
the Emperor.
It? You're back for more, eh?
So she sells different. Oh, I might have to buy one of these. So she sells different things here: rifles, SMGs, swords, daggers, pistols, all the different things you would need to repair those. And then further down here, looks like we've got some other NPCs related to the Landsred, and then the other side, I think, is the housing and water guy, which is over here. So I just want to run over here and show you guys this as well. Harko Village has the same, but since I'm a Atreides, I come here more often because I just don't go over to Harko Village unless I need to be going there for quests. So like, here's a water merchant. I actually don't know that I've ever talked to this guy.
My friend, you buy some water.
Oh, so he even sells cups of water, which you can use to drink. So you can find water here to purchase if you don't want to harvest it.
Ah, it's you again.
What does
Come
he
to
have?
share your secrets this time.
This guy has spice, wine, and food, which you need for other things. So, as I said, you can run around here and find merchants for all different types of things to gear your character out, and not once do you ever actually have to build anything if you don't want to. So, when you get going in the very early stages of the game, you'll have to build a very basic structure with 4 walls and a roof and a door and a fuel generator to complete the tutorial of the game. And that base could theoretically be the only thing you ever need to build if that's as far as you want to go down the building route, because there are many, many, many other ways to go about playing this game. However, I would argue that at its core, Dune Awakening is a survival game, and while you could theoretically bypass the survival aspect of the game to some degree by just using the taxi and buying things, there is a very complex building and crafting gameplay loop here in terms of and different building sets for the different factions, and it's very deep in terms, if you really want to. I mean, I'm a few hundred hours into the game at this point, and I have built a massive base, plus I have my starter base. But it is an interesting thing to think about, and I think it's one to put out there in terms of you don't necessarily have to build bases if you don't want to. You can completely play the game just buying gear from NPCs and finding gear off of the NPCs and by doing quests and getting rewards from quests, just like you can do in any other traditional RPG. The game has that RPG backbone in place if you want to play it that way. So go forth, adventure, have fun, and stay safe out there on the sands of Arrakis. Daily streams at 4:30 a.m. Central on YouTube and Twitch. We'll see everybody in the next one. Don't forget the Dune Awakening playlist down below. Cheers, everybody.